You're here because you want to get better at English, right? And let's face it, that can sometimes feel like a huge mountain to climb.
Hmm.
But what if we told you that making real progress doesn't actually mean you need, you know, massive chunks of time or a total life shakeup?
Exactly.
Welcome to the deep dive. We sort through all the info so you don't have to. And today, we're digging into how building really small daily habits can lead to some surprisingly big improvements in your English.
That's right. We've been looking into some really interesting studies and articles, and they all kind of point to the same thing, the power of weaving English learning into your everyday life, but in small, really manageable bits.
Right.
It's less about those like marathon study sessions you do once in a blue moon.
Yeah, the cramming sessions.
Totally. And much more about just consistent, kind of gentle effort day in, day out.
Exactly. The stuff we looked at really hammered this home when you're learning a language. Just showing up regularly, consistently is way more valuable than these, occasional big bursts of energy.
It's like tending a garden, maybe. You water it a little bit often, not just
Yeah.
dump a whole bucket on it once a month.
Good analogy. Yeah.
And that consistency, it's actually crucial for how our brains lock things in. The research is pretty clear that daily repetition is, well, fundamental for getting new language stuff properly embedded in your long-term memory.
So you actually remember it, not just for a test next week.
Precisely. You're building real, lasting knowledge just piece by piece.
Plus, and this really jumped out at me, there's a big psychological win with starting small. It just feels so much less daunting, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Committing to something tiny feels achievable, not like this massive obstacle you've got to leap over straight away. One piece we read put it really simply, actually. It said, it's better to study 10 minutes a day every day than to study for 2 hours once a week.
And that just feels right, doesn't it? So
Fun.
much more sustainable.
Totally.
And doing those little things regularly, it gives you that sense of momentum, like you're actually moving forward.
Yeah, ticking a box each day.
Exactly. And that feeling, even if the step was small, it kind of reinforces the habit, makes you want to keep doing it. It snowballs in a good way.
Okay, right. So let's get practical. What are some of these tiny daily habits? The ones that actually make a difference. The research we sifted through, it highlighted about 7 key ones. The first one is kind of internal. It's about shifting your inner monologue, thinking in English.
Yeah, and what's neat about this one is how you can just slot it into, well, whatever you're already doing.
Right.
The sources suggested making a conscious effort. Try thinking in English while you're doing everyday stuff, like making breakfast or walking the dog or even just getting dressed.
So instead of thinking, I need milk, you think, I need milk.
Basically, yeah. It's turning those automatic moments into tiny little English practice sessions in your head.
Cool. Almost like giving your brain a little English workout without hitting the gym. Okay, another habit that came up. Reading something short in English daily. And we're not talking War and Peace here, are we?
Definitely not. The key words are short and daily. That's the key takeaway from the material.
Okay.
Aim for something really manageable. Maybe like one online article or just one page from a book you're reading anyway, or even a short news update on your phone.
So just a little bite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The goal is that regular, consistent contact with English words, how sentences are put together, it builds up.
Makes it feel much less scary. And then listening, bringing more listening into your day. The suggestion was just 10 minutes of English audio.
Yeah, and the beauty of this is the sheer variety available. You've got so many options.
Sure.
The research mentioned podcasts like, well, this one you're listening to right now.
Yeah, meta.
Uh-huh.
Hmm?
But it could also be, YouTube channels in English, or even just paying a bit more attention to the lyrics when you're listening to English songs you like.
Right, actually listening, not just hearing the music.
Exactly. It's about getting your ear used to the sounds, the rhythm, the flow of spoken English.
Absolutely. Okay, next up. Another habit that seems tiny, maybe deceptively so, is writing just one sentence a day.
Yeah, this one's important because it's about active production. You're actually creating the language yourself.
Ah, okay, not just consuming it.
Right. The sources we looked at suggested maybe keeping a really simple journal and just write one sentence. Could be about your day, could be a random thought, anything.
And perfection isn't the goal, I guess.
Not at all. It doesn't need to be like award-winning writing or grammatically flawless. It's just about the act of expressing a thought in English, however small, getting comfortable with it.
Okay, I like that. Now, this next one is pretty clever, actually, and almost zero effort in a way. changing your phone's language setting to English.
Oh, yeah, this is a great one. It's such a smart way to just immerse yourself a little bit more passively.
How so?
Well, think about how much you use your phone, right?
Yeah.
Constantly. So if you switch the language, suddenly you're seeing English vocabulary all the time. Settings, notifications, app names.
In a context you already totally understand.
Precisely. You already know what settings does. You just learn the English word for it naturally. You pick up terms for everyday digital life without even trying.
It's like a constant, tiny vocabulary lesson every time you unlock your screen. Okay, number 6 is something called shadowing, repeating what you hear. Can you unpack that a bit?
Sure. Shadowing is quite an active technique. You listen to a short bit of English audio, could be a line from a movie, a sentence from a podcast, like we mentioned, or a YouTube clip,
Okay.
and then you immediately try to repeat it out loud. The key is you're not just saying the words, you're trying to mimic how they said it.
So like the pronunciation, the ups and downs.
Exactly. The intonation, the rhythm, even the speed. You're trying to sound like the original speaker as much as possible.
That sounds like a really hands-on way to kind of feel the music of the language.
It really is. It connects your listening skills directly to your speaking muscles.
Interesting. Okay. And the final one, number 7, reviewing just one grammar point or vocabulary topic each day.
And the emphasis there is definitely on just one. That's what the sources stress.
Not trying to learn the entire past tense in a day.
Please don't. No, it's about tackling something small. Learn one new word and how to use it. Or understand one specific phrasal verb. Or figure out one small grammar rule, like when to use much versus many.
Okay.
It might feel insignificant day to day, but the material we reviewed really highlights the cumulative effect. Over weeks, over months, learning just one thing a day adds up massively.
It's that consistent step-by-step building again.
That's the thread through all of these, really.
So 7 habits. Thinking, reading short stuff, listening a bit, writing a sentence, changing phone language, shadowing, and reviewing one tiny thing. They all seem quite small on their own. But as one of our sources put it really nicely, the magic of daily habits is that they become automatic. You'll improve without even realizing it.
That's such a great quote, isn't it? It takes the pressure off.
It really does. It shifts the focus from this huge, maybe intimidating goal of being fluent to just doing these small, achievable actions that eventually just become second nature, part of your routine.
Like brushing your teeth. You just do it.
Exactly. Okay, so to make this even more tangible for people listening, some of the material we looked at actually proposed a sample daily routine, a really short one, like a 5-minute English routine.
Yeah, this is a brilliant idea, especially if you're thinking, okay, where do I even start with all this?
Right. Gives you a concrete plan.
So the suggested routine had 5 simple steps, basically picking a few of those habits we just talked about.
Okay, what were they?
Let's see. Number 1, read one short article or news post. Number 2, listen to about 5 minutes of English audio.
Okay, half of the 10-minute suggestion, even more manageable.
Right. Number 3, repeat one sentence out loud. That's the shadowing bit.
Got it.
Number 4, write that one sentence in your journal or notebook. And number 5, review one new word or phrase you learned.
So read, listen, shadow, write, review. 5 steps. And you could genuinely do that in 5 minutes, couldn't you? Maybe 10 if you get into it.
Absolutely. The suggestion was even like, set a timer if you need to, just to keep it contained and make sure you do it.
The main point being that even that super short burst of focused activity, if you do it consistently, can be really surprisingly effective.
It really can. It's about establishing that daily touch point with English, making it a regular feature in your life, not just an occasional event.
Okay, so wrapping this all up then, the big takeaway from our deep dive into this topic seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
I think so.
Building these consistent daily habits, even if they feel incredibly tiny when you start, is just a really powerful and honestly quite simple way to boost your English skills over time.
Yeah, those few minutes each day really do compound. It's not about overnight miracles. It's about that steady, persistent progress.
And looking ahead for our next deep dive, we're going to be tackling another really practical area, how to actually expand your English vocabulary and do it quickly.
Ooh, that's a good one. Always useful. So yeah, definitely tune in for that discussion.
For sure. Something to look forward to. But in the meantime, maybe just think about which one of these daily habits we talked about today might actually slot into your life. You don't have to do all 7 at once.
Yeah, definitely not. Just pick one.
Yeah, pick one. Give it a try for a week, see how it feels. And hey, if you want to dig deeper, there are tons of great resources and communities online for English learners too.
True. Lots of support out there.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.